In our last class, we tried to give our brand a sense and soul. I haven't done that by creating our brand construct pyramid. And we all understand what they call brand construct pyramid now. So when you talk about brand construct pyramid, it's like an holistic view of what our brand simply means, starting from the declaration of the intent, that is the so-called mission statement, and at the same time we look into what we are going to do in order for us to be able to execute that mission statement, which is our belief and value system. Our belief is what is like the energy and the fuel that will make us be able to do what we declare. So it's like the back end, and the core values are like the front end. That's what people want to see. That's like our guiding principle. At the same time, how are we going to manifest that? That's our brand culture. And in that class, we are able to break down what we refer to as brand culture, or what we refer to as culture, and we'll move down to what's the human trait of our brand, that is the brand personality. And haven't considered that we also, like, if you write down all those things, there's need for you to define them. When you define them, if it's possible, look for human that exists. It might be your dad, if your dad has that same characteristics, or it can be your mom, or people of the past that probably we read about them or we know about them, the so-called scholars. It might be their picture. It might be that they are the one that carry out those attributes or those traits. Get their picture, include it in your Canva, and that will help you so much to like make your brand relatable. So at the same time, we move to the brand promise. So I said something about brand promise. You see, brand promise is like the cornerstone of your business. If you own a brand and you don't even know what you promise your clients, then I can say your brand is lacking soul. The soul already died, that doesn't care what happens as long as he makes his own money. Every other thing does not matter. So brand promise is very, very important. No matter what it takes, what is going to be the experience that these people will go with? What is going to be the solution that these people will go with just by patronizing my business? That's what brand promise wants to do for us. And it's a huge part of this particular pyramid that you don't want to joke with. Because from experience, I've worked with a couple of brands. Even before becoming a designer, I've worked with different sort of people. I sew clothes as a fashion designer, and I did that for even more than 8 years before I finally kind of stepped down a bit. Though I still sew for myself, at the same time I have a sewing brand that when I get job, those guys are the ones that do that. But like, I'm not actively sewing anymore. I'm in class. I'm not actively sewing anymore, and but what I want to say in essence is that I've met with people, and there is one thing that I think it's keep my work going, is that I will always give you the best. Either your job is urgent or it's not urgent, it doesn't matter. Some people will be like, oh, because it's urgent, that's why I could not that's why go down. That's why it is like this or like that. You get where I'm coming from? You have no excuse. Whatever you promise them is what you should give, even if you have a very limited time or they are not even paying you enough. Because the only reason why some people give bad job out is because probably the client does not pay well. So if the price that the client is paying you is what determines the quality of what you are giving, then it means you don't have any promise. You did not promise them anything. So that promise, you want to stick to it. They pay you, you get the job done for free, or it is urgent. No matter what it is, your promise should be your promise. And that is what is going to help you to keep the sense and the soul of your brand preserved. See, yes. You see, I guess I guess to see something. You know, when some things are happening, you think maybe it is spiritual. But I can say it is spiritual, but when I say it is spiritual, I'm not referring to in terms of jazz or voodoo. What I'm trying to explain is that is in line with what God said. You know, the word garbage in, garbage out, it was said in the Quran and it was said in the Bible. That is, whatever you sow is what you are going to reap. You get to see some businesses, no matter how it is, no matter how they treat their clients in an unfair way, because it's possible, we are all human, you know, because we did not really brand ourselves, we are just doing those things defaultly, we misbehave sometimes. And that's one thing that brand strategy also want to do for us. It wants us to be conscious, because all these things that we are saying since the beginning of this course, there are some people that they are doing it subconsciously. Sincerely, if you start your business the right way, all those things you will have them subconsciously done. So, but because it's not conscious, you misbehave sometimes. But despite that misbehavior, you get where I'm coming from, the client should not still go. I could remember, I think at a point in my life when being a fashion designer, I could remember a man, not one, not two, not three, but this man, I can easily remember him very well because the man uttered a statement that sticks to me till today. He says, whatever you like, you do. Look at that statement. Anything that you like, do. You still be the one sewing my clothes. So what prompted him to utter that statement is that by that time, the man can be calling me to come and pick his call, to come and pick his clothes and sew for him. But because maybe by that time I'm not really in the mood to sew, or I'm very busy, or I don't just want to go on because probably I think the deadline that the man is requesting for, I can't meet up, and I know that if I tell him he's not going to agree with me or something, you know, in one way or the other, I guess not to go and pick the clothes. You know, it's like more or less like I disappoint him, and he will be calling me on phone. There are times that he's going to call me on phone and he will just keep quiet. He will not say anything. He just called me and he will just mention my name and he will keep quiet. So he wants me to fill in the gap, and I'll be like, oh, you know what, I'm going to come this evening, I'm going to come. And until that very day that the man said, you see, anything you like you should do, you still be the one sewing my cloth. Until you yourself say you are no longer sewing for me again. Why am I giving you this instance is that people buy into your promise than any other thing. You know, as long because they know your promise gives them peace of mind. No matter how urgent it is, they know you're not going to bring the clothes and they will afterwards start amending it or feel bad that, oh, they have no time again to get it the way it's supposed to be. They don't have that. They don't, because they don't pay you well for these things and second guess the kind of results they are going to get from you. So brand promise is a key. Are you getting where I'm coming from? And that is like a guiding principle. Even my teaching career, I've been a teacher now for more than a decade, but I've been teaching physics and mathematics. Either I'm teaching you for free, or I'm teaching you privately, or I'm teaching you in a general class. I used to tell people, when they say they want to enroll for my private class, I'll be like, you know what the same result you are going to get if you come to the general class is the same result you are going to get if you come to a private class. My private class is expensive, so save your money, get the same quality for at a cheaper rate. Go and register in this particular tutorial center. I used to be their physics teacher, and I'm the one taking mathematics there. So you meet me there, I will meet you there. Do you get where I'm coming from now? Because it is my promise to teach like my life depends on it, just for you to understand. You know, it gets to a point, I don't teach with English in classes. I teach physics with pidgin, you know, and sometimes I just have to go crazy outside the class. I can even rap for you if it is what is going to make you to understand what I'm teaching. What am I trying to say is the promise that are going to get the quality would always be there. Either you pay or you don't pay. You don't digress away from it. Either you pay well or you pay little. It should still be the same thing. And that is what can make you a sought after. People want to buy peace of mind. So that aspect, you want to be very sure of it very well. Then we go to our unique value. You know, when people mention your name, what comes to your mind? That's the key area of branding, and that's where everybody is looking up to. That's where your meaning, the meaning of your business, the meaning of your brand, the meaning of yourself, that's where we tie it. Do you get where I'm coming from? You know, if I mention some areas now, there are some things that just defaultly comes to your mind. For those who are staying in Lagos, if I say Ajegunle, you don't know what I want to say about it, but just by default, that ghetto kind of system or kind of environment just pop up in your mind defaultly. Likewise, if I say Lekki or I say Victoria, I say Lekki or I talk about VGC and the like, by default, that classy elite kind of a thing pop up in your mind. That is what they call unique value. So when somebody mentioned your name, oh, Teslim, what do you want them to remember? If they mention your brand name, what exactly you want to be the factor that will pop up in their mind? That's it. That's the unique, what is it called? That will make your brand unique. That is unique value. They are not going to confuse it for any other brand. Even if those brands are doing the same thing as you or they are doing something worse than you, it is uniquely yours. So that's the essence of that first exercise. Now we have I'll try to share my screen now because I almost forgot that. In our last class, we are using a case study of what is it called? We are mixing Fixer Card case study and that of the fictional brand that we are working for. So
Labak.
Labake. So somebody say Labake. Yeah, fine, Labake. Okay. So here is the response to all the answers that we just brought out. So we put it together and have it on their brand construct Canva. So this is the response to the first question, and you can see at the end of all these things, we put it together to come up with emotional words, emotional value or emotional statement, whatever we call it, and also the functional value or benefit, as the case may be, because you need to have these two things, functional and emotional. With all these things that you say you've put together or that you claim that you are going to be doing, what will be the feeling that people will get at the end of the day when they patronize you? What is that feeling that you are going to leave them with? So for this, makes every couple feel cherished, valued, and celebrated by crafting cakes that symbolizes their love, status, unique, and to me, I don't even think I'm supposed to get to this point of saying crafting cakes, but it's fine. But majorly, the feeling is what? They feel cherished, they feel valued, and they feel celebrated. That's enough for your emotional benefit. And the functional benefit is practically what we do in a nutshell. What we do in order for us to get our results of emotional benefit is the functional benefit. So that is, deliver handcraft bespoke wedding and engagement cakes made from the finest ingredients, ensuring superior taste, stunning presentation, and a seamless, stress-free luxury experience from consultation to delivery. If you look at it now, it means that by the time we do this will automatically be the response. So the same, just work that out for your brand. So if you look at we have an existing brand. Let's say Fixer Card is an existing brand, and we also have the same we have their brand strategy workshop here. So let's see what their emotional benefit looks like and their functional benefits. So if you look at the functional benefits, say delivering tailored design solution and practical education that drive measurable business success. I listen this now. Now, what we are saying here is, by the time we do this kind of a thing, if we give you guys a practical education that is going to help your business to become successful, how are you going to feel? That is the emotional benefit. That is empowering, you feel empowering and inspiring clients and designers with trust, inclusivity, and transformative power of design. So that is what you are going to feel like at the end of the day, because you feel like there is now new transformation to how you approach your branding, or how you approach your clients, or what you can deliver for clients, and so on like that. So I'm trying to refresh all of this so that you can easily benchmark what we have here, what I've explained now. You can benchmark it with the results that you have for your brand construct pyramid. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So that you'll be sure that you've actually gotten the right answer. Do you get where I'm coming from? So, like, now that we've known that, we can now move to the next thing. You see, what's the next thing? Is your brand direction. If you are a business and you have your brand construct pyramid, are you getting this now? This defines you as a business, but it's not going to give you direction. What do I mean? You see a lot of people on internet, including you, let me even say you yourself. You just do anyhow, you do anything, thinking that that is what will bring you customers. You know, I've got a lot of people ask me questions several times about what they can do to get clients. Do you get? And the response is always like, show up. You know, that's what most people will tell you, that you should just keep showing up. Who are you showing up to? If you are showing up to the wrong person, you won't be valued. They are not buying from you. Do you get where I'm coming from? Because you might be showing up for the wrong reason, which is not the same reason why they are buying. Do you get where I'm coming from? So you don't really have a direction. Do you get? You just want to do everything thinking that, oh, let me bring this, let me bring this, let me do this. Maybe it's going to. Maybe. You're not really sure. Maybe it's going to. And you see, you wasted a lot of time before you get to know responsibility starts setting in. You need to pay for the apartment of your studio. You need to get this, you need to get that. Before you get to know the value that you've worked on your brand construct pyramid, you need to start manipulating them just for you to survive. Do you get where I'm coming from? Maybe the promise you make to people, the only thing that can make you survive or fulfill that promise is when the least amount you get paid is 100,000. But now, because you don't have direction, you do different sort of things. House rent is approaching. 10 people have come to meet you with a 50K job or a tens of thousands kind of job, but you say you are not, because you know that with tens of thousands you cannot deliver what you promise. What can only make you deliver what you promise is when you have hundreds of thousands. So, but now bills are setting in and you have rejected like 5 to 10 people, advising them to get something better to do with their money instead of spending this on that. And before you get to know, you start thinking otherwise, to compromise. You know, you've rejected like 10 people that have come to meet you for 10's job, and you just look at, if I've collected all these things, my bill would have been sorted. Before you get to know, you start to compromise. And once you start once, it's very difficult to stop. And what will happen on the long run, the so-called brand pyramid that you have, that is your sense and soul, you are going to lose it. Do you get where I'm coming from? When you lose it like that, it's always difficult to get it back. And that's why it's always good for you to have direction from onset. When you have direction, you know where you are going, no matter how much it can be. For example, yesterday, that was kind of my longest driving ever. I was driving for close to 6 hours. But I'm not afraid that I'm yet to get to where I'm going. Why? Because I know I'm in the right direction. So if I'm not in the right direction, two things is going to happen. What's that? Number one is that I'm tired. Do you get? Number two is that my mental, that is, my brain is not going to concentrate because I'm afraid that I'm in the wrong direction and I'm putting in this kind of effort. putting in this kind of efforts to push the car and the people in the car, and knowing fully well that you are not sure of where you are going, that's a mental disturbance a lot, and that will even make you weak more, and that's like a torture. Do you get where I'm coming from? At the end of the day, two things can either happen. If I didn't get to where I'm going, I will either turn back home. And that's why you see a lot of people that started being a designer, but they are no longer designers today. Lack of direction can cause you that. So how can we solve that? That's the reason why we want to run today's exercise. And what it's all about? It's all about the stakeholders. Am I making sense now? It's all about what? The stakeholders. So if you don't know your audience, your brand would not have a direction. You can write it anywhere you want to write it. As long as you are a business and you don't know your audience, your brand cannot have a direction. And like I've said earlier, the frustration you are going to face is what will happen when your brand fails to have a direction. Now, what we need to look into now, instead of us to be looking for the audience for your business, we are going to look at people that can as well recommend your business and people that you can employ. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So that takes us to this particular exercise here. Okay. So in this exercise that we want to run today, in order to give our business a direction, that is, we want to find the brand stakeholders now. We need to identify the stakeholders. Are we all together, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we are with you, boss.
Yes,
With
sir.
you,
We are.
boss.
Okay, thank you. So right now, you want to what? Identify your brand stakeholder. Now, if you ask me, why are we looking at stakeholders? I'll tell you, for free. The reason why I want to tell you this for free is that most of us, we care about having a very large numbers of followers on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and what have you. We always crave to have large numbers of followers. It's fine. And you see that by the time you start doing that thing to attract followers, you tend to have them in bunch. Do you get where I'm coming from? That's why when you check some designers page, because I do that a lot, even before coming to this class, I check a lot of pages, feed my eye on a daily basis. And when you look at their portfolio, it looks as if you are seeing the same thing in different look. And I'll be like, if I want to hire a designer now, this like somebody that is doing the same thing for 20 years. And I call for designers with 20 years of experience, and this person came up as somebody with 20 years of experience. And my response would be like, bro, you only have 2 years of experience multiplied by 10. There's difference between that. When you have different experience and we count it and it's up to 10, and you that have just 2 years of experience and we multiply it by 10, making 20, you still have 2 years of experience. Do you get where I'm coming from? So if I want to employ somebody with 2 years of experience, they are going to be a good candidate for that. But now I'm looking for somebody with a 20 years of experience, so I'm looking at something different. You will not qualify even if you spend that much. What am I saying in essence is, a lot of portfolio is not going to convert because of the reason behind why you make them. So when you see people with large followers on Instagram, they are good. But followers is the weakest part of your stakeholders. They are part of your stakeholders, but they are the weakest. The area I'm coming from now. And we're going to look at that together, and you see why I say they are the weakest. There are a couple of things you need to be doing with them, which we are also going to talk about. So, you need them, but they are not your major. But a lot of people focus on them today to the point that businesses drop money to buy them. When businesses start dropping money to buy the people that they are not supposed to concentrate on, just know that that business is failing, or the owner of the business does not know what they are doing. So you don't want to be like that. You upload a very beautiful design for your design colleague to keep following you. and your design colleagues are following you back to back and you have bunch of them. But guess what? They're looking for somebody that wants to design a logo for millions of naira. Are they part of those people? They will not. They can only pick from your inspiration to design it by themselves. That means they are not going to patronize you. However, I'll tell you the reason why they are important, but let's first of all factorize why they are not even your focus. So you get a bunch of them. You are not the type that organize design education looking for designers to enroll. That means there's no way those set of people can patronize you, because all the old thing that you sell has nothing to do with them. However, you want to please them, and the kind of problem or the kind of designs you put out there is to catch their attention, is to grab their interest. You keep on having them like that. That's wrong. However, the reason why you still need them to follow you is the fact that one day, one of them can get a job that is more than his or her power, and they are looking for somebody to outsource it to. They can think about you. Do you get where I'm coming from now? They are looking for somebody to outsource it to. They can think about you. You see where they fit in now. But how many times will they refer clients to you or outsource something to you? That's probably like once in 100. Do you get where I'm coming from? Because some people would prefer to take the risk and fail than to outsource it for somebody that will get it done once. So let's say 1 in 100. You don't want to focus your energy in that area, except if you are a business that doesn't want to make gain. So that is not only in design industry, in other industries as well. People do things that is going to attract followers, and the major role of followers is very, very weak or very, very limited compared to what your brand really need in order for it to survive. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So that's why we need to understand each stakeholders. When we understand each stakeholders, which is the first exercise that we need to run here, either you are doing it for yourself or any business, as long as you want to get a direction for business, first thing is to help them identify their stakeholders. When you identify their stakeholders, the next thing you want to do is to help them prioritize their stakeholders. Am I making sense now? You want to what? Prioritize the stakeholders. So when you prioritize the stakeholders, this will guide you to know the ones to focus on. So that is, any stakeholders that found his or herself in, what is it called here, in this particular quadrant, that is the champion, that stakeholders need to be focused on. They are the major people you want to focus your energy and attentions on. Followed by those that find themselves in what? In the facilitator. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So before you now look into the contributors before followers, you can see anybody that falls under the category of followers, you just need to keep them updated. Now, you might want to jot this down. If you have a stakeholders that falls in this quadrant here, although okay, let's be patient. When we get to this classification, I'll be talking more about that, because these people here, they need something, and what they need is different from what these people need. That is, what you need to be doing with these ones is different from what you need to be doing with this, is different from what you need to be doing with this, and different from what you need to be doing with these ones here. But if you don't understand and get them clearly, you'll be doing the same thing for all of them, and you just see that he's working for one but he's not working for others. Do you get where I'm coming from? So if you are very close to your design colleagues and you check their page and you see that they have 100,000 followers, but their standard of living, their income, their outlook, their gadgets and the likes does not even meet that of your own, that you are struggling to have 1,000 followers. Do you get where I'm coming from now? That's what happened. Do you get? They are doing things that does what? That attracts one area of their prioritization canvas. Do you get? It's not affecting the other areas. Why those other ones, they are doing something that is what? Affecting a particular area of their what? Prioritization canvas. That's why they are not making followers, but they are making money. And if you agree with me, I don't think there's anybody here that wants to have large numbers of followers and be poor. Is there anybody? If there is, maybe you should signify. I'll be glad to learn why you want to do that. So obviously there won't be somebody. Everybody wants to make more money instead of having large numbers of followers. That simply means that you need to focus on that area of the quadrant that can fetch you the money and do less about the area that can bring you followers. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So you need to let your your clients or people that you are running the workshop for, you need to make them understand this, and you also need to understand that by yourself, and that will answer the question of how can I get clients and what have you. So like I just said now, that you need to answer that questions, how can I get clients? For you to get clients, there is need for you to answer some questions. And what are those questions? You want to understand what people are asking themselves before they choose you. Do you get it now? You want to know how they feel before choosing your brand. You need to understand this now. Let me make it easier for you to understand, because if you want to understand this area very well, you need to pay attention. Before, we say functional and emotional. Now, what's the functional question that you're going to be asking yourself? You need to be asking yourself that what exactly are these people asking themselves to do before they choose your brand? What are they asking themselves to do before what? Before they choose your brand. That's a functional question that you need to ask before people patronize you. If you can answer that question accurately, for example now, we are having this session now. What's the question I likely ask myself is that, what's the question that designers are asking themselves, that is, the question they are asking themselves to do in order for them to become more professional or make more sales? So, some of them, or majority, think that there are some certain skill that they need to put together in order for them to do what? To be able to be charging this particular amount or to get to this level. That's the question you're asking yourself before you sign up for a particular thing or anything or take any action. So, there's now another question emotionally about how they are going to feel. I've said that before. They are asking themselves that, oh, do I need to become more professional? That's a feeling. Do you get? So these are questions. It's just an example, like a breakdown for you to understand what people do or what you need to understand before you start selling to customers. You need to know the question they are asking themselves about the action they are about to take or that they are going to take. And you also need to know the question they are asking themselves about what that actions will make them feel, which is what we refer to as functional benefits and emotional benefits. So you need to know those two questions. That is before they choose your brand. Now let's now take, for instance, that they choose your brand in order to give response to those questions that they ask themselves, because the only reason why they are going to choose your brand is trying to answer that question. So the only reason why they are choosing your own brand is to give response to those questions that they are asking themselves about how their action is going to make them feel and what action should they take. So by the time they now choose your brand, they are asking themselves another question. So you also have to know the question that they are asking themselves about the action that they took and the feeling that they are left with. So if you can understand those 4 questions very well, it helps you to know or evaluate if you have actually delivered. And that will let you know if those people can become a loyal customer or a returning customer that will later become a loyal customer. Will they be able to be referring you or not? Not having response to those questions is going to make the entire work that you've done useless. Because What it simply means is that at every point in time that you finish with a particular client, you need to start thinking on when the next one is going to come. And for that next one to come, it means you have to start afresh again. So you always start afresh because the experience they left with is not the same thing that they are looking for. Do you understand that now? So they are not asking themselves, why do I even hire these guys? You know, because what they got from you is not what they are actually expecting. If they have gotten the right thing, what they should be asking themselves is that, do I get this thing cheap or is expensive? Like, do I cheat this guy or this guy cheats me for the value that they've gotten? Do you get where I'm coming from now? So you need to like understand that, and you want them to feel comfortable. You want them to come up with a very reasonable response that make them feel smarter. One day, I think maybe it's 2 weeks ago, and I was surprised that that fellow colleague does not respond to that comment. I wish he respond to that comment because I wish to say a lot of things about that principle. You see the disadvantage of all these things that we are doing. Do you know what the disadvantage looks like? The disadvantage is that whenever any client chooses us to work with us, they will always feel like they are the smart person in the room. They are not going to see that it is our efforts that make everything look seamless. They will not see that it is our efforts that make them feel smarter. What they will think is that they are the smart people. And you know the dangerous things that is going to give birth to your client, because you need to do it for them to feel like that. But the disadvantage of all these things is that it makes it difficult for clients to become loyal. And that's the reason why you need to do another thing for them to realize that it is actually your effort that makes them feel smart. Let me give you a very good example. Let's take for instance that a client comes to meet you right now that they want to do logo, and you ask them, why did you want to do logo? And they tell you that, oh, I want to make more sales. And you want to make more sales. Let's now take for instance that you have put a lot of content out there that already guide them that when you want to make sales, instead of you to do logo, you've explained why they will think of doing logo. You now say do flyer. So they consume that content. They now want to do logo for their business. By reading the content, they get clarification that, oh, it's flyer that they're supposed to do. So by the time they are coming to meet you, they tell you they want to do flyer. It will look as if it is their decision to make flyers. Are you getting it now? So when they pay you for the flyer, they don't think you've done them any good. Do you get where I'm coming from? Forgetting that it is your content that they consume that give them that ability to make that right decision. Now let's just now compare it with this. Let's take for instance that they don't see that content out there, or the content is out there, it's not as elaborate as how they can understand and make a decision. They now come into your DM. They now like, because I think I have once an experience of such. And another thing I want to make mention here is that sometimes when you charge client for a particular amount and they tell you that they cannot pay that amount, there is a reason why. Let me give you an instance. A lady comes on a particular WhatsApp group someday, and she be like she needed a logo. Or maybe it's a designer that said that this person need a logo. Is there anybody that can design the logo for her? I should refer. So the person referred me to that lady. And when he referred me to the lady, normally I want to do a logo for a brand. You know, as at that time, I think that's like 4 years or 3 years ago now, I usually charge hundreds of thousands for logo. Now, I'll start asking this lady question before I even like give her price, just like trying to onboard her and try to factor out some things. And I get to realize that what this lady actually needs is a sticker. In order for her to be able to sell, what is it called, small chops in school, she just need a sticker that is going to carry her name, and she'll be able to be using it to what? To put on those plastic. That's what she's looking for. But she does not know the name to call it. She does not know what to look for. The only thing that comes to her mind is logo. So when I guided her, and I realized that what she was actually looking for is a sticker, not a logo. I was able to charge her according to the money that I'm going to design a sticker. And I think I charged her, was it 15,000 then or 20K? That was I charged. And I helped her to design what? The round sticker, and I gave it to her. Now take for instance that because she says she need a logo, and I charge her for logo, do you think she wants to pay that amount? She will not pay that amount.
No,
Because
no,
she does
no,
not
no.
value logo. But she know that what she's looking for should not be that expensive. Am I making sense, guys? So when you say client is not paying you premium, they are not paying you premium. They are not figuring out their buying value. They know what they are looking for, and they know what it should cost. But they cannot express themselves. You are thinking otherwise. By the time you call price for that thing that they told you, but because they know the value equivalent of what they are looking for, they be like, it shouldn't be this expensive. We can't pay this amount. So, but by the time you try help them and push them to the point where they make a right decision, they valued you. They know you are not just going to collect their money. You are going to give them the best. So you can see the difference between having them to what? To guide themselves by what you put out, and what? Having them to get enough information, but they still need you to guide them. That's the difference. So that's usually a problem of a lot of brands not having a loyal customer. Not because they are not doing the right thing, but they have oversimplified the process that the clients now think they are the smart people in the room. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So that's that about that. So you need to take note of that when you are working on your brand direction. So back to this now. Your stakeholders are divided into three. You know, normally what all designers or people understand is target audience. Target audience are your consumers. Do you get that now? There are people that consume your products directly. But just like we have it, a brand that is marketing what is it called? A dog food. The consumer is dog. Dogs are consuming what? Consuming the food. So when they are trying to come up with anything regarding the product benefit, they have to consider the kind of dog that they are looking out for. Because a dog that is eating bone is different from that dog that they are putting inside beds. Do you get? Because sometimes when you watch people with dogs content, you be like, ah, even me, I've not chopped this one, and that's what dog is eating. You know, something of such. But if the business owner focus on essential dog and he was just particular about dog, remember, people that will come and buy these things are dog owners. Do you get? So as much as you are looking at dog, you also have to look at the dog owners, because they are not the one to eat the food. However, they are the one to come and buy the food, and they are the one that can recommend it for another dog owners. Dog cannot recommend food for themselves. Do you get where I'm coming from now? That's why looking at target audience only is not enough. Like you looking at the entire stakeholders. Who are the people that will consume it? They are the primary motive because of quality. Are you getting this now? Who are the people that will say this is a good thing? And who are the people that will say, oh, this look like what I want to do? Do you get where I'm coming from now? That's why we have these three categories of stakeholders. Number one, who choose you? Those that choose you, they are the what? The consumers, the investors, that is the sponsors, and people that gets to buy that thing. You know, sponsors, dog owners are sponsors. Do you get where I'm coming from now? They are the ones that sponsor those food, not the dog by themselves. But the dogs are the consumer and what have you. So we have the next set of people, who chooses your idea. Those that choose your idea, they are the people that you employed, people that work with you, people that work on the business. Do you get where I'm coming from? Including yourself and other members of staff. They are those set of people that chooses your idea. People that what? That they are the investors. You know, and when I say investors here, there's like a notion that always come to people's mind whenever they hear the word investors. It's not particularly people that drop money for the business. No. Do you get where I'm coming from? For example, Adobe is an investor for designers. So if you are talking about your target audience now or your stakeholders, people that chooses your idea are those people that make the tools that you are using in order for your idea to come true. They are part of your stakeholders. Do you get where I'm coming from now? They are part of people that chooses your idea. For example, if Freepik does not choose idea of designers, they are not going to create resources that designer can use. If Adobe did not chooses the idea of a designer, but they are not designer, they are not going to create tools that majority of designer uses today. Do you get that now? And many more. So if you look at Freepik as of today, like I'm speaking with you now, you can now create all this CIG video animation with Freepik just by you typing prompts. You know, they are already helping you to think as a designer. There will be a designer that want to know how to do this thing that will not have enough time to go and learn it. Let's help that designer to create a tool that will just make him express what he wants, and that thing is going to happen. Boom. AI, they are part of those that chooses your idea. Instead of this designer using what? A dummy text, let the designer be using this. Do you get? And that's why that's why it will be difficult if you don't understand all these things in terms of what they really means. If you just go by their dictionary meaning or the usage meaning, if you just go by it, you lose a lot of things. If you watch these days, Adobe keep inviting designers to come and launch their projects. You know, they partner with designers now, you know, and you know they pay for sponsorship and what have you. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So you also need to understand those set of people who are your investors. So they are in the category of people that chooses your idea. Now, the third category, they are what? The people that says you are a good choice. Now, the question you will ask yourself is that who says you are a good choice? Remember, when we started with the people that will fall in the categories of followers. Your followers on Facebook, your followers on Instagram, your follower in real life and the likes, they will say you are a good option. Do you get where I'm coming from now? You know, I can't say categorically well, but I think you all have a particular educational platform or a school of thought that when somebody is asking you something, you can actually go to this particular place, go and listen to that person's podcast. Oh, enroll for this person's class, enroll for this person's workshop, and what have you. You are what? A prescriber. You are those people that say that those people you are recommending are good. You know, just like a lot of people will recommend Tolalabi podcast for designers or people who want to build their spiritual life and what have you. You know, you are the one that says is a good person to choose. Do you get that now? You prescribe him, you say what? You know, that's it. People that refer somebody to you, they are the ones that say your idea is good. So you have to understand this now. Let me say, people who chooses your idea are the same set of people that want to be doing the same thing that you are doing. However, they think of doing it another way. Instead of me designing, why can't I be creating design software that they will be using to design? They choose your idea. You are both doing the same thing. Do you get where I'm coming from now? But they what? Let me be creating the tool while you are doing the doing. People who cannot establish a company, but they need that money very fast. They need something that will be coming up on a monthly basis. Are you getting where I'm coming from? Instead of them to build their own agency, they become a designer that you employed. Or people who understand the business, they be like, design business is a very good one. However, I don't have that time to be pushing pixels. Let me start an agency. They open an agency. Those people chooses your idea. Do you get where I'm coming from now? Oh, designer will be needing, what is it called? Designers should be needing images and the likes. Let me open a platform where they can download it. Are you getting it now? There are people that chooses your idea. So people who work for you, people that you buy things from, people that they are looking like, oh, how can this thing become better? Because there are some people that sit somewhere and they are looking at design business and they be like, let's do this so that this industry can become more better. Do you get where I'm coming from now? Those set of people, they are people that chooses your idea. Now that we have understand this Canva, I'm telling you, I want you to understand something. I'm not teaching you all this. I'm not going into deep explanation like this in order for you to just feel your Canva. I'm going into it deep like this so that when you finish all this nonsense workshop that we are in, sorry for using that language, but it's what it is. If you finish the workshop, it's for you to be able to be confident enough to use your certificates to also conduct the workshop. Because you cannot teach what you don't know. What I'm saying in essence is for you to understand this very well so that you can communicate in a literal term instead of using jargon. You know, contrast, canny. Instead of tell the client I just want to make a difference, you are saying contrast. You don't want to communicate that way because they will not understand you very well. So communicate in a literal term, and the only way you can communicate in a literal term, other than the ambiguous, what is it called? Unlike the ambiguous registered, is when you understand that thing very well, and that's why we are digging deep out. So if that should be the case now, I believe everybody understand this. So fill the Canva now, or guide your clients to fill the Canva. If you look at that of fix a card, we have what? Our own stakeholder here. Can you see? Identify stakeholders. So who are those people that chooses you? Your consumers. So business owners, entrepreneurs, organizations, department head, CMOs, CEOs, enrolling teams. Now, why do we put this enrolling team instead of us putting designers or what have you? Is that the kind of projection that the business is having, it's not just to be teaching individuals who think they want to be good. We also want to look, we count individual that thinks they want to be good as part of it. They are like a followers. But the major people we are looking at is people who like, okay, we have this money and want to train this set of people. Can we get a company that can train them? Do you get where I'm coming from now? So they can pay that money and we'll get the training done and so on like that. So, however, if a designer thinks they need to upgrade their skills, because my experience with designers is basically that some people I'm expecting to see in this workshop that I know that with the little they already have, if they can have this, then they are going to start making results. They saw the advert, but they are not here. So why are they not here? You know, it's an answer that you can answer for them because majority of them we take one or two courses together, and that I take a course with you does not make me your mate. It only give you privilege to move close to me or for me to move close to you. Do you get? So that's advantage of taking courses together. It's not like maybe when you see somebody taking course together as you, that means you and that person happens to be mates. No. But when we take courses together, it's bridge gap between us and what and that other person. It makes it easier for that person to say they want to collaborate with us. It makes it easier for us to say we want to collaborate with that person. In order for leveraging to be easy, that's why we are having courses together. So why am I saying this is that there's somebody in this class right now that the knowledge that that person has is far beyond your own. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So instead of you thinking that you and that person you are mate because you are in the same class together, thinking that you both have the same thing, you have a lot to lose. Do you get that now? So instead, leverage on that person. Do you get where I'm coming from now? When you see that they're like, for example, if I'm not mistaken, I think Abdul Malik. So if somebody is here that you might want to learn how to probably write your marketing copy with, I think you might want to what? You might want to link up with him. Sorry for casting you, but I just have to say what I'm saying. You know, when he's writing those story from scratch and you follow it up till the end of the whole of the slide, even if it is 15 to 20 slide, you follow it to the end without you knowing, because they are so what? Engaging. And that's one of those things you want to learn how to do if you are writing copy, storytelling in a way that people connect, they don't get boring. So if this kind of person now organize a storytelling class tomorrow, and you know you don't have that knowledge, but because you are both in the same class, you did not enroll or log in, then you have a lot of things to lose. So what am I saying in essence is that designers are fond of that. I don't know, I've not noticed that in other industry, but I noticed that in this particular industry, and you might want to fill in that gap. So don't let yours be that. So back to what I was saying, this is the stakeholder canvas for fixer card. So when it comes to who chooses our idea, the team members, design instructors, strategic partners, collaborators, investors, industry peers, vendors, software providers. So under this vendor, that's where you have Enfato, FreePitch, Shutterstocks, Adobe Image, and so on like that. And under this software, anybody who creates softwares that can make design possible, they are the ones that we are looking for here. Do you get where I'm coming from? And the list goes on. So back to this place now, which is who says you are a good choice? Consultants, mentors, publications, blog, students, influentials, educators, designers, business engaging with the brand's content. Because obviously, there are some business that will be engaging with your brand content, but they will never buy from you. Do you get where I'm coming from now? Not because they don't want to buy from you, but they actually don't need what you are selling. However, they find what you are saying to be true. They find it to be professional. Those set of people, they are prescribers. They are those people who says your idea is a good one. So once you're done with this, fill the table so that your table would as well look like this. And by the time you are done, move to the next one, which is prioritizing your stakeholders. Now, when it comes to you prioritizing your stakeholders, there's something that you want to understand in order for you to categorize people that you want to what? You want to focus on. You see the champions. Under the champions, what are the things you want to look for? So these people, you want to engage them from the beginning, and you want to engage them often. You want to take advantage of their high interest and high influence. So what I mean by high interest and high influence is that these people, they really know what they need, what you do. Do you get where I'm coming from now? They need it, and at the same time, you need them in order for you to survive. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So they have high influence on your business, and at the same time, they have what? Very high interest. What is it called? High interest level, because they need it for their survival. At the same time, they do what? Their money is also important. Without their money or without them, your business might not stay. We have influence and we have what? Interest level. This influence is how they affect your sales and the growth of your company. And this interest level is basically how your company affects them. So for champions, their influence level is great. Likewise, their interest level. That is, you madly affect them, they madly affect you. Without them, you cannot make money. Without you, they cannot get solution to what they want. So why I'm trying to explain this in a literal term is that if I tell you that anybody that is under people that choose you, take them to champion. Anybody that is under people that you choose, take them to this. There are cases whereby the kind of brand that you are dealing with, they interlace on each other. Somebody can be among people that says your idea is good, but because of the nature of how they relate with your brand, they have high influence, and at the same time, let me give you an instance. You know, people, if somebody comes to like affiliate marketing, I think that would be a very good example. Affiliate marketer, they are prescribers. They are part of people that say your idea is good. However, the way they connect with your business, they have what? High influence, and they have high interest. Because if they can work and bring more people to come and buy your products, your business is going to flourish. At the same time, they are also going to make more money. So you might want to calculate and look at it that these people have high great influence on, depending on how many of them you are using and depending on what you are selling. That will determine if you really need what, an affiliate marketer or not. Because take for instance, somebody that has, what's it called, a credibility and has large numbers of people that can influence, that person might say it's not depending on any influencer. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So some businesses, they are practically dependent on influencers, and influencers are just part of people that says your idea is good. They are prescribers. So if your business solely depend on them, they become champion. That's it. You have understand what makes influence and what makes interest now. So go back to your stakeholders canvas, pick and select the set of people that will be in champion, that will be in facilitator, that will be in followers, that will be in contributors. Let me give you these followers. I'm more particular about this category of people that are called followers. This set of people, you don't owe them anything, they don't owe you anything. Do you get where I'm coming from? What they are getting from you, they can get it from another person. If they don't follow you, another person can follow you. So that's why you see them that they are followers. They have everything low. Low influence, low interest. In fact, if I'll give them star, I'll give them 2 stars. I don't know, maybe you guys are getting this explanation. Then the next set of people, they are the contributors. These people, your brand has much interest. Like your brand contributes more to them than they contribute to your brand. They have your brand is doing a lot for them than they do for your brand. Do you get where I'm coming from now? For example, if you give room for a presenter to talk about you, do you get where I'm coming from now? So it's just like what is it called? Bloggers. Yeah, bloggers. They do more for your brand than, your brand do more for them. If you are a blog, like you have a blog now, if you have a blog platform or you are a blogger, you are doing more for people that you post their content than they are doing for you. I don't know if you understand that. So let's take for instance Tunde Egnot, for example. So when he posts your content, he's doing more for you than you are doing for him. So his own kind of brand now. Content creators are contributors. Do you get where I'm coming from now? Content creators are contributors because he's doing more for them than they are doing for him. It's not only their content he has, however, whenever he posts their content, he's going to help them to get noticed because he has large numbers of audience who are coming to his own platform. So it's an opportunity for you to be seen on his page. But in one way or the other, if he doesn't post your own content, it doesn't affect him. Because literally, people are already buying him. They are not buying him because of you. They are buying you because of him. That's why At that point in time, you might be a content creator is a contributor to bloggers. And when I say bloggers, bloggers with influence, not just blog. Facilitators. So people under this place, they are not really benefiting from your brand. However, your brand is benefiting from them. Do you get where I'm coming from now? Your brand is greatly and madly benefiting from them than your brand is giving them. Who are those people? Let's take for instance that I wake up in the morning and I be like, let me help the masses. Let me enroll them for storytelling class or marketing class with Abdul Malik. At that point in time, I am what? A sponsor of those set of people. And when I enroll them, I just move on. Abdul Malik is not doing me any favor. Rather, I did him favor. Do you get where I'm coming from? So in that case, I am a facilitator. If you want to categorize such kind of people now, you categorize them to be facilitator, not champion, not contributor, not follower, but facilitator. So I believe now that when you list different stakeholders now, you can now what categorize them on how they impact the business that you are running a strategy session for. So not only that, after they do this, you want to advise them on how they are going to engage, because when you're talking about what stakeholders, there is three things that is very much important about any stakeholders. When you talk about stakeholders, number one, you want to understand how to find them. How do you find stakeholder for your business? You have to sit down, think, make research, know people that have interest in what you are doing, know people that, you have to make research. Know how to find your stakeholders, because if you don't know how to find them, you don't know how to run your ads. You don't know how to submit your proposal. Because some proposal, you don't need to submit them. You know how to make your cold call. Let me give you an instance. Okay, sorry. This is not a full class. But in our design thinking course, part of the course is sales. If I want to make a cold call, no business want to listen to you when you are not bringing money to table. And I want you to understand this. I learned all these things practically. Around 2015, 2016, I was deeply into origami, ability of paper folding. And at that time, I know that the people that can really patronize me very well are school owners. I was staying at Badagry, so I have to do a lot of samples. If you check my, my Instagram business, you can still find some of my catalog. You see some of my old jobs that I've done with paper, sculpt with paper and the likes. So when I was looking for school to buy these things, I don't really know what to do. I'm moving from one place to another. You get to see that, oh, this is beautiful, this is nice, but these students cannot pay for it. You don't think it's what we need. And I moved into a lot of batami boo, because I would carry load, sweating, all of those things. And I went to Ikorodu one day, from Agbara Badagry to Ikorodu, because I felt that schools around, there are a lot of elite schools around that area that might buy into this idea. So a lot of them, they all say no. Majority of them say no. So I now went to a particular school. I forgot the name of that area. But when I get there, the woman said she knew what I was doing and she likes it. However, she wants me to come and make this presentation by myself to the parents. So if they buy into it, she's going to call me. However, she's going to give me a contract to decorate her office for her. So, which means that's a win for me. She gave me money to do that. I did that, and I went to their, the end of their party, grab mic, talk, explain, get parents interested. But I lack one thing in that class. In that time, I don't know how to convert. I only know how to give a nice presentation, but to close that sales was my problem. I could not close those parents to subscribe to it. So I lose that school. However, I work with the owner of the school by doing some, but what I really want is for them to get me hired on a contract base to be coming to teach their students, but that doesn't work out. But where I'm driving at is when I now went to a particular, still in that Ikorodu area, because it's not one day, it's not 2 days. When I got to that school, when I knocked the gate man told me that the owner of the school did not want to see me. And I was about to leave. And something just asked me to wait a bit. So I was waiting, and the owner of the school saw me. Because I'm a fine boy, and I dress well, you know, with my bag. The man just saw me and be like, you know, let him in. And when I went to our office, I did my presentation. Because I know what schools want to hear. Daddy. My problem is just on how to close the sales. So when I get to the office, after explaining everything, the woman now uttered a statement and said, do you know that if you have come here yesterday, I wouldn't have listened to you, and you not even, that's why they told you cannot see me. The woman now break down what made them buy what they buy. He told me what I've been missing by going from one school to another that is making them not to conclude and make sales with me. And guess what? After that time, I don't even need to go to Ikorodu before I close schools in my area. I was like, so this school get this money, they have interest in this thing, just because of that little information. So when you are gathering your stakeholders, you have to know how to find them. Not only that, you have to know their need, because if you don't know their need, you are only talking about what you do, which is a lot of things that majority of businesses get wrong. They know how to explain what they are doing, that it will make sense in their head, but they don't ask themselves if it makes sense in the audience ear. Because it doesn't make sense to the audience, it can only make sense in your own head and your partners. If it doesn't make sense in your audience head, then you are not, it's nothing. That's why it's very much important that you know their need, because that is what you need to sell to them. And I've cracked the code. If you want to understand that what you're actually explaining is jargons, but it makes sense to you, how can it make sense to your audience? This is it here. Call somebody that is not interested in what you are doing. Take that person to a restaurant or a lounge. Get them to sit down, buy them something, ask them to listen, explain, pitch to them. Pitch what you are selling, pitch it to them. Then tell them to tell you back in their own words. Anyhow they tell you in their own words, that's exactly how you sound. With that, you can tell if you are going to close sales with that statement or not. Does that address the need of the people you are targeting or not? You'll be able to know from their own explanation. You get that now? Don't worry. For those that God will guide to the thing, I don't know when the class is going to come up, but for those that will be in that class, it's always going to be a 4-month course. So for those that will be there, we talk about that. For those that will finish this workshop and have their canvas complete, we are also going to touch all of that, because that will be the next stage. You can't just have your canvas done and think that it's all. That's why you did not see anybody joining the group again. We close the group. It's only meant for those who attend the workshop, because of the kind of foundation that we really want. So let's back to work. So the last thing that you need to know about your stakeholder is how you can move them from just being a stakeholder to become somebody that buys from you. Do you get that now? That's not about this side. So just know how to engage them. These ones here, you need to constantly engage with them. And you see, the ones here, you need to involve them. You need to involve them in whatever you are doing. So if you don't involve them and engage them in whatsoever that you are doing, there's likelihood that they are not going to pick you. Do you get that now? You have to commit to them in one way or the other. Remember, you are the one benefiting from them, not them benefiting from you. A lot of people have money, they don't know they are supposed to help people. How do you want to make them know that they can help people with what you do? All of those things is just a heads up. You see these ones, you don't need to spend more money or more time or waste your energy on them. All you just need to do is to keep them regularly informed. You have to keep them regularly informed. They are the set of people that just need to know that you want to do these things, so, or you are doing these things, so you are not really expecting them to buy. You are not expecting them to do anything. You just want them to know. Get them informed. Then the contributors, all these ones, you have to find ways to leverage on their interest. Am I making sense now? You want to what? You want to find a way to leverage on their interest. Remember, they are the one benefiting from you. You are not benefiting from them. So you have to ask yourself, how can I benefit from this idiot that is just collecting money from me without giving me anything? So that's the job of you with this contributor. How can you leverage on them? Let me give you an instance. Remember, at some point, when we are calling for people to join this strategy session, right? At that time, you guys are contributors. You just want to come and get something from here. So we're not like, shall we go just give all these people something for free? Or upload this thing on your status. You get up now. We're trying to leverage on the audience that you have now by asking you to share. That's one way of trying to leverage on what you have. Because normally, we call it a free class. We are not supposed to pay you anything. But I also need something from you. For me to get that thing, I'll be like, you know what? Go do this. Okay, help us to comment on these things. Let us have your feedback. It's a way of leveraging on you. That's the job that you want to do for contributors. Or, for example, we give out a free resources and we collect your email. We want to leverage on your email and to see maybe we can move you from being a contributor towards to champion, or take you from contributor, take you to what? Facilitator. Maybe you can get one businessman around you that can invest, or maybe you yourself go away they disguise. Because I think I once have a student that is a crazy real estate person. He's a realtor in the real sense, and he has that base, he has that money and the likes. But I was quick enough to identify him in the class. When other students are talking to him anyhow, I was just smiling that if this one I don't say this man fit buy am, he no go talk like this. And that's why I'm telling you that be careful of the online space. Don't think that because you are in the same class they are your mates. They are not your mates. Do you understand? Assume yourself as the lowest person in the class, and that will enable you to see the biggest person in the class. And I can tell you several times that this man has invested in whatever I do. Even if he's no longer buying into he want to become a designer by himself again. So what do? I moved him from where? From just being somebody that's what contributes only. I move him to facilitator because he's not a champion, he's not buying frequently. So right now he's only giving the business money, he's not really taking anything from the business anymore. Do you get where I'm coming from? So that's about that. So it's more or less like moving him from champion to facilitator. So we're getting something from him, he's not getting anything from us in one way or the other. So that's about this. So the last part of everything is where we have your stakeholder stimuli, the jargons we talk about the other time. So you want to develop a questionnaire to discover your stakeholders' real needs. What exactly do they need? Their motivations and what they are looking for when choosing a brand from your sector. So what will make somebody want to go into design education? Look at the question we are asking ourselves. I was asking myself, a designer that said they want to go for training, what are they looking for? Do they really want to add to their skill, or they want to make money? They really want to make life. They this class because save knowledge. You just want to see more way to make money. If you say you want to go to photo manipulation class, you want to learn motion graphics, you are not doing those things because you have passion. You are only looking for more ways to make money. So if I understand that, then I now need to what? To create that thing that you think will make you make more money. I have to create it as what you are going to buy. But because I understand that that thing is not really what you need, I now need to teach you. I now need to make you understand how you can actually make the money. Because you can learn that thing and it will not make a difference. A lot of people are motion designers here, they are not making jack. They are only happy doing logo animation for themselves. But how can you make more money there? If I organize a motion graphic class, I'll tell you that. Do you get where I'm coming from? And what have you? So that's what you want to do at this stakeholder stimuli. So people that are enrolling for design education, what exactly are they looking for? What do they need? Are they really need this education? Now lie, they also want money. You know, I understand that. So I guess to understand, ask myself, what's the question that you are asking yourself before you choose this brand? Do you get where I'm coming from now? Answer, just write down 2 questions. That is the emotional and the what and the functional. Are you getting it now? So here now, after they choose the brand, what exactly are they still asking themselves? The emotional and the functional. Then if you are able to do that, find answers by asking your who choose you stakeholders. So how do you find answer to those questions that you've asked? Because you need an answer for it. It is the answer that you get for it that will help you to sell to them. How do you get answer? You need to ask them. You need to ask designers. When designer says, I want to learn how to build portfolio, who tell you that they need knowledge of portfolio? If they have been getting job with bad portfolio, they will not come and miss it that they need a good portfolio. That means that person is suffering for something, and that's the reason why they want to build a portfolio. So I will now ask them, how do you think a good portfolio is going to get you a good job? From their response, that will shape the kind of product I will sell to designers. Do you get that now? That will shape what I'm going to guide them on to let them get that particular result, and so on like that. So that is how you deal with the stimuli canvas. And once you are done filling the 3 canvas, that is this one, you fill your stakeholders canvas, you prioritize them, and you come up with the questions they are asking themselves, both emotionally and functionally, before they choose your brand or anybody in your industry. And after they choose anybody in your industry, then give response to those questions. When you give response to those questions, both before and after, then you are done with this canvas. So let's see fixer card response to that. So we see here is the prioritization of all our stakeholders. You can see. So if you look at here now, you get to see that somebody who is here is in the champion. And you can see somebody who is also here is in the facilitator. Can you see? The enrolling team. They are part of the people that chooses you. But you see now, some of those people that chooses you are in the champion, while some are in the facilitator. All of that, you need to do what? You need to, in one way or the other, know how to power. So this is what the stakeholder stimuli questions. You see, before choosing the brand, the question they're asking themselves is, will this brand understand my needs and make me feel supported throughout the process? So you're asking yourself, why am I enrolling for this course is to make money? At the same time, will they guide me through? They are asking themselves. You are asking us, and we are responding. So back to so yes, the brand emphasizes approachability and collaboration, ensuring personalized attention and solution. You see, can this brand provide the practical education and impactful design services I need to grow my business? Yes, the brand offers tailored design services and workshop proving to drive measurable results. So after they choose your brand, this is the question they are asking. Did this brand make me feel empowered and confident in my decision? Absolutely. I feel more capable of leveraging design to achieve my goal. Did the service, so if you look at the questions here, the question here is tackling the design education part and the agency part as well. And That's that about what the stakeholder stimuli. So we're going to stop here for this class, and in our next class we just move by looking at the benchmarking. So that's when you are doing your competitors analysis and the likes. We are going to look into that as well. What and what should you look? And at the end of the benchmarking, we are going to position your brand, which is brand positioning. You must have been hearing that left and right, brand positioning. Why that nonsense that you are doing with other designers, why it is a losing zone? What is the losing zone? What is the dump zone? What is the risky zone? And what is the winning zone? And where should you be? All of those things will be explained in the next class under the benchmarking and brand positioning. Please try as much as possible to fill that canvas for yourself, and we're going to meet in the next class, and I think that should be on Monday, right? Catch you guys on Monday by God's grace.